Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another video that's about a guitarist, and this one is in celebration of Ritchie Blackmore, especially as this video is going to come out or is being recorded around the time as he comes up to his 80th birthday. And I know that in the news recently it's been announced that Ritchie hasn't been very well. So the first thing I want to say is this video is dedicated to Ritchie Blackmore and Candice and their family. I hope they have lots of healing and that Ritchie Blackmore continues to become stronger and healthier and relaxes at the same time. What I'm going to do to celebrate the work of Ritchie Blackmore, and I've featured him a lot on this channel, as many of you know, he's my favourite guitarist and has been since I was a very young teenager. I thought what I'd do is I'd pick, have I got it? I'm so organised. I have the albums in front of me, but not actually the list of stuff I'm going to say. So please, just bear with me just a second. Sorry, back again. Sometimes my enthusiasm gets so far ahead of me, and I don't script any of this. I just go from the heart. But anyway, what is this about in celebrating the life and talent and achievements and amount of joy that Ritchie Blackmore has brought millions of people from around the world? I have picked 12 instrumental tracks that I feel represent Ritchie Blackmore in a different way. So I haven't gone for the obvious songs, as I've done other videos about this, but I thought to be a bit different for his 80th birthday, I'd look at 12 instrumental elements to his playing. So these are tracks that have no vocals on, and one has a slight human voice somewhere, but you know what I mean when I say it's an instrumental. And I'm counting down from 12 to 1. Let me know what you think in the comments and what you think of this list, and think of anything that I missed out. And no doubt you will have put them in a different order to me. But this is what I felt today as I compiled this. So at number 12 in my list of 12 wonderful instrumental tracks by Ritchie Blackmore is from Shadow of the Moon by Blackmore's Night, is at number 12, and it is Minstrel Hall. I felt I had to pick something from this album, especially because this was such a milestone after he left Deep Purple. I've got all the Blackmore's Nights albums, and there were lots of instrumental tracks and sections, etc. But I felt that this one was where he really probably had his wings unclipped for him to indulge in this love of Renaissance music, which he's always loved. And this is a track that... This is the great thing about Ritchie Blackmore, and many of the tracks that I picked here is not someone showing off or trying to put as many notes in as possible, and he can do that, and he has done many times in his career. This is him playing tastefully from the heart, and the notes just float out of the speakers towards you. And this is what I felt about this track, Minstrel Hall, is that it shows his love of Renaissance music, but it has room to breathe, and you can tell it's authentic, and it's something that he really loved doing. It's a great album. There is a special edition of this album out as well, but that is number 12, Minstrel Hall from Shadow of the Moon. At number 11 is Deep Purple, and it is from Gemini Suite Live. And because, as you know, the Gemini Suite was recorded by John Lord separately it was the first album to be released on Purple Records. I've chosen this one because it's Ritchie Blackmore playing the guitar part. It's not that easy to find, I don't think, anymore, but it's the guitar track. It's the opening song, because this is probably the origins of that kind of shred fest. And I don't always think of Ritchie Blackmore like that, but that guitar solo section he had in You Fall No One in 1974 on the Burn Tour, which basically changed my life. The origins are on here. You could say some of it's on Concerto, but I think it's more on here. Also, there's a funky element to his playing that also was going to emerge on the Fireball album as well. So I think this is a a wonderful track. It's probably not one that many of you out there are perhaps that familiar with. I know many Ritchie Blackmore Uber fans will be, but it's well worth checking out. This is the whole of Deep Purple are on this, performing John Lord's Gemini Suite. It's really, really good. So that is at number 11. What have I got at number 10? Number 10 is off, well, it emerged off Final Vinyl. This is where it probably first, those of us in the UK first became aware of this. It is also available on the Ritchie Blackmore Story Deluxe Edition, because it's from the Tokyo, it's the Tokyo concert, which was only released separately around that time. I've done a whole video unboxing this. It's a fantastic set. It really is. But difficult to cure. The reason why I've chosen this particular version is because of the orchestra. And again, we were so blessed with Deep Purple, with John Lord loved classical music, Ritchie Blackmore loved classical music. And so the work that both of these, fantastic musicians have done with orchestral backing is just fantastic. And this particular one of Difficult to Cure is just amazing. And of course, the orchestra start off, and when we get to that solo section, Ritchie Blackmore is in a world of his own. It's absolutely a stunning rendition of this track, which of course surfaced in the reformed Deep Purple as well. But it is this version from Final Vinyl that I first discovered it. Absolutely love that. Next is from number 9. It's from Bent Out of Shape. I love this album. And I will do a separate video on it, because I think I'm slowly working my way through the Rainbow albums, not necessarily in the order they came out. But this is certainly one of my favourites. Obviously, literally back to back with Perfect Strangers when it appeared. What I picked here is Anybody There, which is one of 2 instrumental tracks on this album. And I think this is where many Ritchie Blackmore fans, and I know we have Blackmore's Night, and I might have mentioned this before, but I feel that what many of us hope that Ritchie can still do is an instrumental album along the lines of Anybody There and other tracks that I'm going to mention, because I think that is something that would go down so well, and something that would really tap into where I feel he's in how he kind of uses music and his guitar playing to bring out what he feels inside of himself. I think there's a flash element to playing guitar, and there's another element to playing guitar where it's more kind of reflective and more personal. It's almost as if the heart is bringing the notes out and putting them in front of the listener. And Anybody There is a lyrical guitar solo without words. It's just a beautiful track. Absolutely wonderful. Next is from the Burn album. No, it's not. It's from the Burn period. But I'm going to show you my copy of this particular track that I bought in 1974 as a 15-year-old kid. And I bought it because of Might Just Take Your Life was a single from the Burn album. But on the other side was a track called Coronarias Redig, which is an instrumental track and not a non-album B-side. Those of you old enough to remember those, so you were bound to buy it. I don't think anyone hardly did buy this single, but what a track that is. It is off the remastered Burn CD, not off the original album, and it's remixed on here. But some fine playing, his guitar tone, that it's just so fluid, his guitar playing on this track. I think you'll see that as I pick these tracks, there's a theme to his playing style, that how he goes down this route. And every so often we have these gems of instrumentals from Ritchie Blackmore. They are so different from the kind of the rock-driven writing and songwriting of Purple or Rainbow. But when he does these instrumental tracks, they have a theme, they have a feel to them. So the Rainbow one has a feel in the guitar playing. It's like effortless. It's just so full of feeling. Oh, it's like the guitar singing. It's just what it sounds like to me. I just love this track. I think I've got this about 5 times as a single. So I think it's sold about 5 copies and I have them all. So that's off Burn. The next one follows on so well from Difficult to Cure and Maybe Next Time. Another one that can you see, those of you, if you put this together, should I put this together as a Spotify playlist to help you? But if you put these together like I have, you realise they could all slot onto one album. So a record label out there, if this is Ritchie's label watching this, I hope it's not too hard to get the licensing sorted out. But these tracks would work so well as a compilation as Ritchie Blackmore. And then, of course, to take pressure off Ritchie, if he doesn't want to do a whole 40 minutes or so, just do 2 or 3 new songs, plonk him in alongside this, and I think it'd be rather good. If we want that, let's start off a campaign in the comments here. But Maybe Next Time is another piece of music that would stop me. We'd have all the rock songs and Rainbow, and I'd be excited, or it's Purple ever. And then tracks like this would make me pause just to close my eyes and just listen to the guitar playing, almost visualizing he's picking the strings and his fingers moving across the fretboard. Great track, Maybe Next Time. The next one is just like that, except this is 10 minutes long. It was the B-side of Perfect Strangers, called Son of Alerik. It's just, I think there's one, Ian Gillan says one word right at the end, I think, or is it kind of like a but it's just amazing. It's just amazing. And I believe, I haven't heard it, that there were other little jams like this done when the band got back together, and they haven't seen the light of day. No doubt there's some kind of legalities and management not agreeing with each other, but for us, the fans that love this music, come on. None of us are getting any younger, are we? Please release them. But this track, Son of Alerik, 10 minutes of just hearing Ritchie just weave in and out, and you can imagine them taking visual cues from each other and going, okay, John, you can do this bit, and then Ritchie just doing the next bit. It's just, and it's so not Deep Purple in a way. It's kind of, obviously just come from Rainbow, but it has this kind of laid back feel that all these pieces of music have this feel that you have this impression that Ritchie could channel his angst and anger and throw his guitar everywhere and all the rest of it. But there was this other side to him where he just wanted to float amongst the notes and the music score and just see wherever he felt at the time. You can just, again, it's just what these pieces of music I've chosen. It shows a side to Ritchie Blackmore that everyone should hear. Is my view. So that is Son of Alerik. I'm going back to Burn now, but this one really is on the original album. And I've talked about this track before. It was a track that was seen as a bit like Doctor Who outtake. It was seen as the weakest track on the album, A200. Is it? It may be compared with Burn or Mistreated. However, when that solo comes in, picture yourself on the edge of a cliff overlooking the ocean with the menacing clouds, or feeling as if you really want to get in touch with your life in this moment, and then boom, the guitar solo comes in. It is so emotive. It is such an emotional roller coaster ride as you fly off the end of that cliff and soar up into the clouds following Ritchie Blackmore's guitar playing at those notes as they just lift you up and carry you wherever you would like to go. A200, it's one of his finest guitar moments ever. It's just incredible. It's those first bends on the strings and the way he does that. Anyone could do that. Somebody might say it's just bending. No, it isn't. It isn't. It's the human condition. It's how music talks to us. It's how it literally flies through the air and goes boom in the heart of your chest. A200, incredible. The next one, I'm going back to Bent Out of Shape. Did you notice that I just had another copy to hand? This happens if you're a fan of bands like this. You end up with multiple copies of almost everything. Anyway, the track is The Snowman. I love that film, that animation, Christmas past, the innocence of Christmas, and the snowman melting in the morning and everything. And Ritchie Blackmore's interpretation of the film, of the story. Oh, it's just gorgeous. And the interplay and the use of the tremolo arm. And you could, this is going to sound like the wrong word. There's sometimes, it's not a messy, I'm going to say the word messiness. There's a way he lets you hear the hands against the strings, or the way the plectrum moves across or his fingers move across the fretboard. It's a bit like Ian Anderson, Jethro Tull saying, this is music made by wood and steel, so you will hear the mechanics of the instruments themselves. And I think sometimes with Blackmore's playing, you can, and it just gives it that really authentic, real, that you're sat somewhere quite close to him as he does this. But I really hope that that Candice and the kids also love this rendition of The Snowman and probably like the program as well. Being someone that's still waiting to grow up, I love The Snowman anyway, and I watch it every Christmas. But this rendition, it's wonderful. I remember buying this and looking at it on the bus on the way home and thinking, The Snowman. That's a strange name for a track, for Rainbow. Could it possibly be to do with that? And I thought, well, why would it be? But it is, and it's just fantastic. So anyone who likes that film, listen to this, even if you don't think you like Ritchie Blackmore, and see what you think of it. So that is at number 4. At number 5, we're going back to Blackmore's Night, and this is so heartfelt. This is Carry On Jon from Dancer and the Moon. This is obviously done as a tribute to Jon Lord, and it's so heartfelt, and you can feel, the musical tears that Blackmore must have shed as he pulled this together, thinking of his friend and how they'd pulled together the band Deep Purple and the career they'd had together. And here he was, putting down this piece of music in tribute to Jon, and it's done in such a tasteful way that you can imagine, Jon Lord look up there, looking down, absolutely approving of this. It's a shame that the Jon Lord tribute, we didn't have this, Ritchie doing this or something on that stage. I mean, there wouldn't have been a dry eye in the house. I absolutely love this album anyway. It's got some wonderful stuff on it, but yeah, Carry On Jon is a fantastic piece of music by Ritchie Blackmore, and of course, it's so heartfelt and a wonderful tribute to the much loved and missed Jon Lord. Next, number 2. Yeah, it's Still I'm Sad from the first Ritchie Blackmore Rainbow album from 1975. I can never get enough of playing this, and I know I've recently done it as part of my 16 in 75 video series, and I think I've covered it before then as well, but every time I hear this, every time I hear that solo start, it's such a roar of energy, and so Ritchie Blackmore. He'd kind of completely cornered that style of playing at this point in time, and this is one where we do have a hint of vocal in the background towards the very end, but ho-hum. It's still instrumental as far as I'm concerned. And the playing is just incredible. I think it just gave us this, even then actually, I just remembered when I heard this, because when this album was reviewed, a few of my friends had said, I hope he does an instrumental album soon. That was 1975, 50 years ago, and we're still waiting. Maybe this will be the catalyst that starts the thoughts of a Ritchie Blackmore instrumental album. Maybe. I hope so. Number 1. It's from the Down to Earth period, but it's not from the album. It is from the B-side of the single To All Night Long. And it's Weisheim, or Weisheim. I'm sure, hopefully, one of those pronunciations will be close. But I used to put this on the jukebox so many times. It is just incredible. This is why it's number 1. All the instrumental tracks that I've picked in this top 12 to celebrate Ritchie's 80th are valid and beautiful pieces of music. And all of them could be where this one sits in my mind's eye. But as I listened to them, I thought it has to be this one, because there's something about it that doesn't just have the melodic playing, but it also has the really fast, fluid playing, but recorded in such a way that it is kind of sympathetic to the backing of the track and also really pulls you in emotionally without a word being said. And that is, to me, the true brilliance of an instrumentalist, whether it's a guitarist, a violinist, someone playing the flute or piano, is they reach you without saying anything through music, so that your imagination is woken up. But I think more importantly than that, it's not that much you have thoughts and off you go. It actually puts you in the present moment, and you're just at one with the music. It takes you out of yourself. And that's why I feel that music is the healer and the doctor, because there's certain musicians who all click with different people. But for me, music like this, whatever's going on, around me, I can listen to something like this track. I can't remember how long it is, and I bet it doesn't say on it, does it? But you never know. It doesn't. It's probably about 4 or 5 minutes, whatever. But in that time, it's just captures you, just catches you. But absolutely brilliant. So that is my number 1 Ritchie Blackmore instrumental from the Down to Earth sessions. So that is my top 12 Ritchie Blackmore moments to celebrating reaching his 80th birthday. And as I said at the very start, keep getting well, Ritchie. We're all thinking about you. Take it easy. Thank you so much for everything. But if you do think maybe there's a chance of doing an instrumental one, that would be fantastic. But for everyone who's watched this, thank you for all of your support. Thank you for all of you who've come on board recently, becoming a patron or a YouTube member. That really does help me do more videos like this. And of course, buying some merch or a t-shirt or even a mug and other stuff that's coming online as well. But as I said, music is the healer and the doctor. Please take care. Keep spinning those discs. And I'll talk to you all very, very soon.